the advantage of having an experienced trial attorney for your car accident, why you need a trial attorney for your car accident case, and the key to maximizing your compensation. Welcome to Ask Your Injury Lawyers, featuring Buttafuoco and Associates and hosted by Rob Taormina. Today we have a special episode, and we're going to be introducing our guest to cover this very important topic to give peace of mind and understanding to all of the clients out there who are asking the question, does it matter what type of attorney you have, and do you want a trial attorney? To help us out with that, we have our friend Shawn Alfano. Shawn, how you doing, buddy?
Very good, Rob. How you doing today?
I am doing well. Listen, thank you so much. I know you're an incredibly busy person, but this is an important topic. A lot of people have these questions, and I will also say enough people are not actually asking this right question. Is it important to have a trial attorney? And I thought, what better person to address this than the senior trial attorney for Buttafuoco and Associates? And so I don't want to give the bio for you. So if you could just let everyone know who you are, how long you've been with the firm, and then we can sort of get right into our questions here.
Well, I've been with the Buttafuoco firm for 25 years now. I came on when I was young. I already had some trial experience, but I wanted to be with a firm that had a good opportunity for me to really expand and try a lot of cases. And that was the reputation of the Buttafuoco firm 25 years ago. And so I started here, and I was immediately thrown into the trial courts, mainly in Brooklyn, starting out. And I've, over the 25 years, have tried cases in most every county in downstate New York, Nassau, Suffolk, all the boroughs, Westchester, Rockland, Orange, Albany County. So yeah, I've gotten around quite a bit, got a lot of experience here. It's been wonderful.
So you're clearly the perfect person for this subject. Let's just get to the easiest and the obvious one. If you could, what is a trial attorney? And what is the difference, let's say, between like a general personal injury lawyer and a trial attorney?
Well, isn't every lawyer a trial attorney? The answer is no. I didn't know that when I was young, because my introduction to lawyers was television, movies, books, and every lawyer I saw was in court trying cases. It looked wonderful, and I wanted to do it, and that's what lawyers did. I only found out as I started going to law school that most lawyers are not trial lawyers. Most lawyers do not work in the courtroom. Most lawyers do everything but trial law, and it really is a very small amount of lawyers that are actual trial lawyers practicing in the courthouse week after week. It's similar to doctors, where you see doctors all the time, great doctors, but most of them are not surgeons. Most of them are not operating week after week. They're seeing patients in the office, and if there is a surgical case, you get referred to a surgeon. And very often, my firm is referred cases from other firms that are not trial firms, and they refer the case to us because a trial needs to happen. And so we fill that role in a similar way that a surgeon would.
Now, we know that like many law firms settle cases, and we know that trial attorneys are like prepared to fight at any point in time. Here's a question. When it comes to the insurance company's perspective, do you think insurance companies know the law firms that have a history of just always settling case and never going to trial? And do you think they're aware of the firms that have a trial attorney and have a history of going to trial? And do you think it actually makes a difference?
It absolutely does make a difference. They absolutely know who the firms are who go to trial, because the insurance companies send a representative to sit in the courtroom while the trial is going on. They take notes, they report back to their superiors, how is the trial going? So I get to meet many of these claims people who are sent to observe the trials and to report, right? And the reports very often are, it is not going well for the insurance company. You should increase your offer.
So right there, you just touched on the value in having a law firm that has a history of going to trial, has lawyers that actually are trial attorneys. You talked about the value right there is reputation, not just reputation publicly. This is a great firm, but a reputation with the insurance companies. I don't think a lot is discussed about that kind of reputation. And so maybe you can expand on that. But then also, what about the ability to negotiate? Are you positioned as a trial attorney, you think, to be able to negotiate, I think, more aggressively than, let's say, someone who's not a trial attorney or not known, we'll say not known to be a trial attorney? Like, does that play a factor at all in sort of the negotiations end of it?
Well, I can only speak from my experience that I believe it does. Now, I'm sure there are very fine negotiators, attorneys, who are not trial lawyers, and eventually, however, there comes a point where if you don't get what your stated goal is, what the client's goal is, what you should deserve, the only option for a lawyer is to go to trial. And if that lawyer is not a trial lawyer, their only option is to give that case to a trial lawyer to see it through. And that does happen many times. The other option is to take the money that they're offering, but you wouldn't want to do that because then you're settling for less than what the full compensation should be for your client. You never want that. Now, when it comes to myself personally negotiating as a trial lawyer, I will hear things from examiners of the insurance companies that will be like, well, why do you think that this case is worth that much money? We don't pay that much money. Why are you different than some other lawyer who, I settled 3 of these types of situations last week for much less money. Why are you being so greedy, Mr. Alfano? And I can say, well, I'll tell you why, because I just tried a case very, very similar to this last year in Nassau County, and this is the verdict that I got. And I'm not asking for anything more, but I know that's what a Nassau County jury is going to get me. And I tried a case like that 2 years ago in Suffolk County, and guess what? It was a tremendous verdict. So I'm not saying that you should give me a tremendous verdict because, that was a special situation, maybe slightly different than this, but I know what the range is from what I can do. So I'm not depending upon what other people are settling cases for. I'm not depending upon, some of the cheaper verdicts that the claims examiner can whip out at me and say, well, this case in Queens, went for $20,000 last week. Well, that's great. It wasn't me, and it wasn't my firm, and it wasn't my client. And I have that ability to do that on a firsthand personal basis. And I think that does carry a lot of weight.
Oh, 100%. Well put. A couple of things I want to add, and as the attorney, I want you to give a little bit more detail here, is that a trial attorney, from the experience that I've had, working with you guys and speaking with all of you guys, speaking with a number of other attorneys from other firms, is I've noticed that there is a skill involved with being a trial attorney that involves things that a lot of people don't know about. How about like picking a jury, collecting evidence, anticipating insurance tactics in the courtroom. It takes a skill and it takes a certain level of experience, I would think, to be able to know all of those things and then use all of that to your advantage, or in this case, in the best interest of the client, right? So I would think that having someone proven in results, and you just touched on that before, is a big deal. So if someone's in a car accident and they've got a serious injury, it's in their best interest to find a law firm with experienced trial attorneys. Let's just talk about that. Let's not even talk about Buttafuoco and Associates in a second for a second here. Let's talk about what is in the best interest of clients who have been seriously injured. When they're looking to hire an attorney like Shawn, what do you think that they should be looking for?
Well, you're absolutely right, Rob. You're looking for someone who has the experience, someone who has handled this type of case before from the beginning to the end. And the experience is key, just like in any type of vocation, any type of sport, and any type of thing that you are looking at where people are competing and they're looking to compete at a high level. You want somebody who has been doing it for a long time and has proven success and a lot of skills that have been developed. And the skills don't just appear; they're not magical, right? That you're just born with it. There are certainly people who have great personalities, and they're born with a great personality. But it takes a lot more than that to actually, as you say, develop the skills necessary to present a successful case at trial. And a successful case at trial doesn't just magically happen, right? It happens from the moment of that first interview with the client. There's so much important information that the client is going to give you that you need to develop your case. There's things that you need to preserve immediately, witnesses that may disappear, videos that may disappear. We know that there are video cameras everywhere these days, but a lot of times they're recorded over very quickly. And so we need to run out and capture video. We may need to, we have experts on hand that can go and retrieve black box data from cars, right? That might be overwritten, that might get lost, that might end up in a junk pile somewhere, and you'll never be able to recover it. So just having the experts in place that have the tools necessary to preserve the evidence, so when it comes time for the trial, the evidence is there, is key. And so many different aspects of developing a case that after you've been through it at the end enough times, you know what to ask for in the beginning.
So we're gonna be closing this out soon, but I wanna ask you, based on what you're saying, it sounds like the process for managing a case, it's complicated. It's not as cut and dry as maybe people who've never gone through this process before might think. There's a lot that goes into building a quality case that results in a maximum result for the client. And you already touched on it. Now, one thing that I've become aware of working with you guys, I want you to share this a little bit. I understand that with our firm, we work on what's called a contingency fee. If you can first explain what is a contingency fee, and what people have to understand, that these cases are expensive, very expensive. And having a firm that is well established is in the best interest of the client, because they've got enough resources to cover those expenses, and they're not necessarily put in a position of compromise where they're going to settle early because the firm needs the money. And that does happen a little bit, I'll say it. But if you could touch on those two things, what is a contingency fee, and what's the advantage of having a firm that can in fact cover the expenses of very complicated cases?
Well, a contingency fee is just that. It's contingent. The fee is contingent, means it depends upon there being a result. So the contingency fee, most often that you'll see in New York on a regular negligence case, is 1/3 of whatever recovery there is, whether that's a verdict or a settlement down the line. So that is, 1/3. It sounds like a lot of money, but as you referenced, we take a case on, and some of our cases, complex cases, can go on for quite a long time. They can go on for years. And meanwhile, we're running a whole staff and pool of attorneys and buildings, and the experts that are needed, all with, let's just take one case at a time, no money in year one, no money in year two, no money in year three. Oh, trial happens in year four. But we got a fantastic result. The insurance company didn't like that. They appealed that. Okay, now we're funding the appeal after we got a tremendous result. And then we have no money in year four. And then finally, we get the tremendous result in year five. Mm-hmm. All right. So we did a lot. And then we do get a third. But when you put that in context of the amount of time and money that we invest in a case, it's really what's necessary just so we can continue to deliver superior results to our clients. And on the flip side, we can work on a case for 4 years. It almost never happens, but there is a situation that could happen where we work on a case for 4 years, and you know what? Bad result. Mm-hmm. And guess what the client owes us? Nothing. Right? Because we invest all our time and our money and our skills into the case to get the client a result. If we don't get them a result, they do not owe us a thing. And
right. So the law firm is taking on the financial risk.
100%, 100%. The clients just have to worry about healing and getting better. We will take
Right.
care of everything else.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna put up a quick screenshot. I know you can't see it, Shawn, but for everyone who's watching, this is the firm's website. It's 1-800-NOW-HURT.com. Shawn, what they're seeing right now is on our homepage is really the big numbers here of some of these cases that we've settled. I know we've had some really big milestone cases. We're well north of, I think, 150 individual cases that have settled for $1 million or more. I know Dan, he gets so excited when we get to get another one and add to that list. Maybe in the future podcast we could put like a ticker or something that shows all that stuff. But you've been a part of a lot of these. To close it out, what does it mean to you when you see a case go to completion and you get a really good number for these clients and you're seeing that it's changing their life? And I'm going to put some words in your mouth here because I know you don't like to brag about yourself, but you're an amazing, amazing attorney. And I know your clients absolutely, they love you and they love working with you because at the end of the day, you're working with some clients for years and you get to know their families, they get to know you, and it's an emotional experience. So I'd like to know, like, what does it mean to you seeing, right now everyone's seeing the results. We're talking about over the past, 40 plus years, $750 million in verdicts and settlements. And then it has a list of all of the big cases that we've settled over the years. What does this mean to you? And what does this translate now to maybe future clients that are considering us?
Well, I mean, it means everything. It means the world. I mean, that's, we are dealing with people's lives, plain and simple, with how their lives have been upended, how they have to learn how to make the best out of a really bad situation, and move forward. And we cannot heal them, and we cannot, undo some of the horrible things that happen in some of these tragic accidents. All we can do is get them money to try to get them the best possible rehab, the best possible life and comfort that they can get. And we're dealing with children who are, who could be orphans or had lost at least one parent. Sometimes their only parent, right? And now they're living with a grandparent because their only parent died. I mean, just tragic things that we see all the time. And so, truly, every client that I've ever had that have had a significant case will say it doesn't matter how much money I get, it's not enough, because all they want is to go back in time. All they want is for this not to have happened. Dad was not killed in a car accident, right? Somebody's brother did not lose their leg in an accident. Somebody, can still run and play soccer and play basketball, and they're not in a wheelchair. I mean, these are the real horrible, situations that people find themselves in when tragic accidents happen. They do not want that to happen. But if it happens and it's due to someone else's negligence, somebody was being careless and not paying attention, and now their lives are forever altered, yeah, you bet that we demand that full justice and full restitution and all the money that they should have coming to them to try to help the rest of their life, that is actually given to them. And it means a tremendous amount when a jury sees it, just like we do, and they give that person an adequate amount to try to help out with this bad situation that they have to live with for the rest of their lives.
Well, Shawn, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your expertise and your passion for what it is that you do. You truly are an extraordinary lawyer. You've helped hundreds of people over the years. I know they're grateful. I'm grateful just for knowing you and calling you a friend. And so I can't wait to have you on again the show to deal with other questions that people have related to personal injury law, and what we do at the firm here. But honestly, I'm going to say this confidently: if someone is in a position where they've experienced some type of tragedy and now you need an attorney who will fight for full compensation, fight for justice, I'm confident in recommending Butterfield Associates and Shawn. I know, and I don't want to speak for you, but I'm gonna, can people call you? Can people call the firm for a free consultation?
please call. We speak to people every single day. We help as many people as we can. We can't help everyone. We have it. We get a lot of calls, and we hear a lot of different, terrible situations that happen. And every single person that we can possibly help, we absolutely do.
Amazing. Well, Shawn, thank you again for coming on the show. And everyone else, thank you so much for tuning in to Ask Your Injury Lawyers. Do me a favor and share this with others. We're trying to grow this community and provide this as a resource for people and arm them with the resources they need to get a better result for the situations that they're in. Remember, Butterfield Associates, we're helping accident victims rebuild their lives. Take care.